recording the Zoom meeting?
The Zoom meeting, yes.
Hi guys, welcome to the Film Feast podcast. Tazi, it's not nice to talk when other people are trying to do an intro. So
well, the intro is not going to be done by you. It's going to be. Oh wait, yeah, it is going to be done by you.
Tazi, can you shut up for a second?
Whose turn is it for the intro?
Welcome everyone to Film Feast.
Oh gosh,
today
Brent,
we are.
You're stepping on me now.
I've always stepped on you because you're tiny. Today we're going to be talking about.
I weigh significantly
producers.
more than you.
He's taller
so
than
I can
you,
outrun you.
That is true.
You can't.
He's probably faster.
You don't have to be first. You just can't be last.
All right, so can I do
Here's
the intro now?
Welcome to Film Feast, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about producers and also motivation to work. Thank you for
the
joining us
mid-roll.
today.
We'll be talking about producers and their role in the film industry. After the mid-roll, we're going to be talking about motivation. But you didn't give any context to it.
You guys really suck at this intro thing. I was doing a great job until you both ruined it.
You just said, "Hey, everyone, welcome to Film Feast."
Everyone,
yeah, because people like the energy.
Calm down.
I bring energy.
I don't have any energy right now.
No, I will not calm
Here
down.
at your locally supported Film Feast studio, we like to keep
Okay, let's
calm
actually just start instead of
calm.
listening to you making.
Now, if you let me finish the intro, I can finish.
Let him finish, Tazi. Let him finish.
What she said.
Before I was so rudely interrupted.
No, that's what I said.
We will be talking about producers and their role and what their limitations should be / what they should be doing, and how egotistical are they / the people they oversee. And later we will be talking about motivation to get jobs done, because nobody has motivation. Most people don't have motivation. And speaking of motivation, we would love to motivate you to get your wallets out and consider donating something to this wonderful podcast. We would also like to thank our sponsors today, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
We're definitely not taking
Meals on
money
Wheels.
from Bill and Melinda Gates ever.
I would take money from Bill and Melinda Gates.
I wouldn't. Not their money. Definitely not.
I take it.
And
I don't know. It's money's money.
And a new sponsor this week.
How you get the money?
Jimmy Pesto's, where the pizza is saucy. And
bro, somebody's gonna do the intro
saucier.
After the show. So just shut up. Let's
you know what? Hey, Tazi, Brent was doing a great job until you cut him off. So now we're going to talk about the issues with producers. Tazi is a producer, and he is stepping on the creativity of Brent here, who is just following his creative passion to create this wonderful intro that Tazi just crapped all over because he realized that it wasn't that marketable, that it was way too long, that it went all over the that
just squatted down and dropped his pants, and no one wants to see that. I just watched a harassment course for the union, and that I'm sure we'll
talk about unions another day
on there. That will be another. That probably is going to be a question that's added on there, is what to do when your producer literally just takes a big old
but it won't say your producer. It won't say your producer. It'll say what to do when your producer Tazi Starfire takes a big
specifically, because at that point Tazi will basically be like Disney, and will be in control of most production companies.
Yeah, but everyone will hate him,
but also love him because he gets them their jobs.
Everyone hates me already. It's a love-hate.
It's like everyone loves to make fun of Disney, but then they still watch their stuff and work for them and to do everything. So it's like, do you really hate them?
I don't really watch Disney movies anymore. I watch.
But do you watch Marvel?
I understand that they think that I'm giving them their money. I actually won the Disney Plus subscription for a year at the beginning when it first came out, so I didn't have to pay them anything, and I haven't since.
You seem so special.
I am proud of that.
Are you stealing someone's Disney Plus?
No, I won it.
But you only won it for a year.
Somebody else paid for it for me because I won a competition.
But you won it for a year.
Yeah.
So you're not watching? Oh no, he's
that year not over.
Probably. He's probably not doing anything illegal.
I have an account, but he sent me the money for it, and then that money was
Who did?
specifically for a guy on YouTube. I don't know his name.
Was it Bill Gates?
It was definitely not Bill and Melinda.
and or Melinda Gates.
No, I subtly push you in the direction that I want you to go.
That is something that I like. Here's the thing. Producers, I think you have to separate the producer of the movie, the person who is actively working with the director to get the thing done, from studio heads or studio producers, because those people are very different in how they have the same amount of power to impact the story. In some cases, they can literally dictate what the director or the writer or the producer does, but they don't have the knowledge that the writer, director, or producer has. So my stance on this is, like, I did a short film for the 1 year of film school I did, where the writer gave us a crap script. Like, the script wasn't good. The movie would have been really boring. It was about this couple going through like therapy, but it was she was like made it really artsy, and there were a bunch of scenes that didn't make any sense or just felt out of place, and it was just sort of dumb. And the producer,
make it seem more metaphorical, she made it about a couple trying to wade through a big bowl of soup, but it was like thick chowder.
Well,
the producer came down. And the producer was like, the producer came down and was like, "This doesn't make sense. The chowder is way too thin for them to get through. You need something a little bit thicker, like some oatmeal or something like that."
What kind of chowder have you?
It's thick. But here's the thing: is your marital status chowder thick or oatmeal thick? Like,
I'm not
hard cooked oatmeal thick. Yeah, see, that's what he wanted to convey. He wanted to convey that they were so far gone, they were oatmeal thick, wading through oatmeal, trying to get to each other. But then a big spoon went in the middle and blocked them from getting to each other. And then the director said, "This is god awful. So I'm not doing this."
That's what
you said.
Continue what
you're saying.
What, that was basic. That you know what Brent sort of encapsulated. No, the point is the director ignored what the producer and everyone in the production class was saying, which was like, this is not going to be good if we shoot it that way. She made 0 changes, and when we got to watch the first cut, it was exactly what we thought. It was really boring, and it didn't make a lot of sense.
Well, when you have soup involved, soup is always boring.
Yeah, I mean, most soups, let's be honest. I mean, unless you get a good tortilla soup. Otherwise, if you base your movie on soups, you got to get something good. Like a clam chowder might be good, although it's mainly just cream.
The only soup I eat is ramen, and that's not really soup. That's
ramen. Yeah, that's a different. It's noodles, like a good ramen,
like a different genre
ramen. You got to make sure your movie is more like ramen than chicken noodle. Chicken noodle is basic and boring. Whereas if you have a movie that's like ramen, it's spicy sometimes. It's got a lot of heart. It's the egg, and it's got a lot of starch, a lot of depth to it because it comes in a big bowl.
Sorry, 1 second.
You know what? This moment deserves a long silence.
What, the soup?
Okay, here's my issue with the producer's role. You have scenarios time and time again that prove that the producer shouldn't be a part of the creative process. They can give their feedback, but they shouldn't ultimately have say in what decisions are actually made. That should be the director.
Unless the producers, because there are some cases. I mean, for the most part, if the producer has no affiliation with the movie other than they are giving money to it, I think they should have no input. There was one movie I was working on, though.
Well, check it. Here's the thing.
Well, hold on. There was one movie that I was working on called, I can't remember what it was. I think it was called You Can't Take My Daughter. And I'm almost positive this was the case, was that the producer was family friends with the subjects of the movie, basically. Like what the movie was based on. She was like family friends with them, so she knew who they were, or he. I can't remember. I think it was a she. Pretty sure it was a she. But they knew who. Pretty sure they knew them, and so they had like legitimate input for the movie. Whereas if it's someone who's just giving money, then for the most part, I feel like they don't have. Like it was literally just a wallet. The person is just a wallet. I feel like they should let the creatives do the decision making for the most part.
Yeah, I think if you're a producer, the only scenario where I could see a producer's like creative input actually mattering to the director is if that producer has some sort of creative background. For example, me, I'm a director too, and a screenwriter and an actor, so I have some form of creativity to me. Most producers get into it for, the money aspect of it. They don't really get in for the creative process. They get in because maybe they can't be a director, but they still want to work in the film industry. There's so many different motivations behind getting in to the film industry as a producer. But I think the main point, the underlining, reason that a producer should stay out of the creative process is because people respond to one form of storytelling by one person. I think for the most part, when you have somebody, for example, directors like the Russo brothers, like there's two creative, directors there, and they heavily, input. I don't think you could get like 3 directors, for example. Like, I feel like when you have so many different people making the creative decisions, everything gets lost. The Russo brothers have one voice together, and that's why they're really good at it, because I'm pretty sure they figured out how to compromise. But with a producer involved, on top of what a director's role is, which is basically just to, make sure the story is going in the way that they envision it going. It's to make their vision come alive rather than to, appease the audience or appease, producers. Which is why there's a lot of issues in the industry with, for example, the Star Wars newer trilogy, when you have, one director has kind of built in, all of these setups that he's going to pay off over the next 2 movies, but then he's off of the film and another director comes in and he wants to do his own stuff. And this is all happening because of the main producer involved. I don't remember her name.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. She's like, isn't she leaving Disney or something like that?
People who want her to leave Disney have said she's leaving Disney. There's been no official word as to what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, she basically ruined the whole thing, because you have, somebody as big as, Abrams says, no, I don't want to do that. I think that's stupid, or whatever however the conversation went, but basically just denying whatever the producer wanted. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to move you. You're not going to do it. Then I'm going to get somebody who will listen to me. And then they come in and change all of the setups and payoffs and huge character, like important character development that's been developed for years in comics and without comics and all that stuff, and then you change the giant character like Luke. And then now you have all of these fans who hate these movies because nothing is seamless over, the 3 movies besides Kylo Ren's character, basically.
I think that might be actually the opposite, because JJ was only going to do the first one, and then they had 2. Ryan Johnson was going to do the second one, and
Colin
another.
Trevorrow.
Yeah, was going to do the third one.
And I think this is the issue.
Well, here's the thing.
I remember seeing something that there was more drama to it than that. There was
I
way
think
more drama to it.
This is the opposite situation where the producer should have stepped in when Ryan Johnson, where I still think it's Kathleen Kennedy, and I mean also Ryan Johnson's fault, but Kathleen Kennedy's fault for not stepping in and saying, hey, look, we needed or in the first place, before even The Force Awakens came out, like sitting down with JJ and even the other 2 directors and writer and all the writers being like, this is the story we want to tell over these 3 movies. Now you need to stick to that. And I think should have been what she should have been doing when she was producing these. She should have stopped Ryan Johnson and been like, okay, no, these things that you're changing should not be changed. Like, you're changing things that have been set up, and it's going to mess with the 3rd movie and it messes with the 1st movie. So you need to stop that. But instead she just let Ryan Johnson do whatever he wanted, which kind of messed with the rest of the movies and people's perception of the movies.
Yeah, I think last word on this from Justin. And then
I was saying a lot of the issues, especially with the Star Wars thing, was because Kathleen Kennedy in this case was working. I'm not out like within the political mechanisms of Disney itself. Bob Iger wanted the first movie to really catch audiences out of the gate, and he wanted to do it safely. He wanted something that would appease everyone. So JJ, instead of doing George Lucas's idea, which would have been wildly different than anything we'd ever seen, he created this nice little safe, just retread of A New Hope. And then once they had gained Bob Iger's and Disney's trust, Rian Johnson's movie was what Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do from the beginning. That was the type of Star Wars movie that she wanted to make. And so that's why she just sort of let him steamroll over everything, and why he sort of just shoehorned in answers to all of JJ's questions that he had put in. And then once The Last Jedi had such a terrible backlash, Colin Trevorrow, who had written the third movie based on what Rian Johnson had done, after
We're about
that,
to get cut off right now.
Yeah,
Wait, hold on.
But that was when he got. That was when he quit. Was because Bob Iger stepped back in and said, "No, we're not following off of what JJ did or what Ryan did. We need to do something safer."
Hi guys, this is Justin. Welcome to the midroll. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/filmfeast. We have 0 patrons and currently don't upload things there. But if you're our first patron, we'd start doing that. If you want to email us, which no one has, I'm really disappointed, to our 3 dedicated viewers, no one has emailed us a hate letter yet. Josiah, get on that. It's info.filmfeast@gmail.com for the hate mail. And, yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Guys, for anyone who's listened to this last segment before the mid-roll, I actually would love to hear your comments down below, because obviously the producer is a necessary role, but I think it is a conversation to be had, because I think within independent realms, it's a lot easier for a producer director to have a good relationship. But once you get into those higher, once you get into studio work, I don't know. I'd love if that for some reason, someone who actually works within the industry, who is either a producer or director, who has experienced this relationship, hears this podcast out of the blue. I'd love to hear your input on this. And what does that relationship look like? What are the frustrations? And I just feel like I see too many instances where directors are leaving projects due to creative differences.
Yeah.
And that's just so frustrating. Like Edgar Wright leaving Ant-Man. Listen, I love
that would have been
movies.
Amazing.
I know, right?
But they didn't want to embrace Edgar Wright's style of movie making.
Yeah.
Which thankfully they've
and
changed with other
yeah.
directors nowadays. But
yeah, I think they're even still they haven't really expanded. They've allowed James Gunn to do his thing.
James Gunn and Taika.
Well, they did for a little bit.
Think
and then
about it. Taika and James Gunn's work are very similar in tone. So they were like, we're gonna make an experiment with Guardians of the Galaxy. It worked, and people love it. So then they almost just sort of copied it with the third Thor movie. And I'm not saying that Thor and James Gunn have
two
the same
different
thing.
directors that they're.
But
letting...
I mean, they're not just letting anyone come in and embrace their style. They're not going to have Edgar Wright back and do his weird editing and the way he uses music. They're not going to allow him to do that. Because it's very different than what they've already.
I don't know if Edgar Wright would want to come back, but I think that's still
I think he would.
I think this
because they even did some of it, and everybody said they loved it with the whole, I can't remember his name. His friend, when he tells us is telling the stories, where he's telling the stories and it cuts really quickly between the people telling the stories.
Yeah.
Luis, I think it's Luis. But yeah, those parts, that's a very Edgar Wright. So they kept everybody loved that part of the movie, and I think they know that. And I know they probably won't get Edgar Wright back himself because they can't. He probably just won't want to come back and do another movie with them. But still, I think I think they're open to getting experimental directors like that, because they know a lot of people, especially with WandaVision. WandaVision, I feel is very different because there's been I can't even remember a single action scene in WandaVision. It's mainly just been character
Trust
driven.
me, we'll get one.
Okay, yeah, we'll get one in the end, but still, okay, that's 1 in 9 episodes, so 9 hours of content. It's mainly been character driven stuff that's going on, and so it's a very different type. In that case,
maybe I'm more just referring to the time when Edgar left Disney. That at that time they were not willing to allow very experimental movies. They wanted.
I think it depends on the departments of Disney, and I think this could be a really long conversation. But I really want to move on to the unmotivated part of being a filmmaker or just in the industry in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's why I'm unmotivated. Okay, I was talking with, as I think both of you know, I was talking with an investor for a while. And then that went, that ultimately
Went south,
didn't go south. Like
unfortunately.
it's still a possibility in the future, but it's
but current.
on the back burner.
Yeah.
And then I just started talking with another guy, and then I feel like I've been ghosted by him because he hasn't responded to any of my stuff. And so I think over and over again, I mean, just in life, you get rejected so many times. It's kind of like, I should just not do this anymore because it's stressful, man.
Yeah.
My muscles just randomly twitch because of how stressed I am.
Yeah.
Like my neck muscles will
Go get a
stretch,
massage.
my ab muscle, the lack thereof, but they will still, twitch.
Yeah.
My triceps, is that what this is? This muscle here will twitch.
Yeah.
Tricep
Yeah,
My
is-
thighs will twitch. My whole body just starts
This
to
one.
twitch. I'm like, ugh. It's
Where's
just
this one? I can't remember.
stressful, dude.
Yeah.
Because it's like starting out is so hard, and I feel like hearing stories, you only get a limited, portion of the story, and that is like maybe a year before somebody is successful, even though they've been working at it for 10 plus years or so. And it's just because you don't hear those 10 years, or you just get like a one-off sentence saying like, yeah, I've been working at this longer than, a year, but I'm successful now, like they don't want, I feel like people don't want to talk about the motivation behind the whole, like, how do you push through the whole 10-year, process of just working and grinding and writing and making short films and all of this stuff without any like breakthrough, until 10 years down the road, you get your big break, which doesn't seem like a big break, but yet it's what, I've instilled in my mind because of these stories that have been told about filmmakers being successful, so it's just very stressful, and I'm so unmotivated right now to do anything. I watched 3 movies today, and I should have been working. I should have been doing stuff, but I wasn't because I'm unmotivated. I watched the 3 Batman movies, the Nolan films, which are phenomenal films. Yeah, I watched all 3. I just finished Dark Knight Rises before this call. That's why I was like, when you were like, "Oh, I'm busy for another hour,"
oh, no,
I was like, "Oh,
that is very unfortunate.
that sucks."
I guess I'll
busy,
have to go
too.
back to watching movies. Doo-doo.
Yeah.
Maybe taking that hour-long break would satisfy all the people who are like, I don't understand how Bruce Wayne got back to Gotham City so fast. He's just out of the pit and then they cut to him back in Gotham. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Also,
he's just in the desert, just like chilling. He has no resources to like call somebody for a plane.
Also, I just hate how they just make it winter out of nowhere. Well, wouldn't that explain something?
Maybe it's been a few months since he got out of that pit.
It couldn't have been a few months because it's only a month and then it blows up. It's a few weeks, right?
It's 3 months and then it blows up. He spends
I just
something
watched
like
these things. I wasn't really paying attention.
something like 2 months.
You just watched. You shouldn't even know what it is.
Yeah.
He spends like 2
That's
months
the last
in the pit
one you
healing,
watched,
and then a month
and that's
getting
near
back.
the end of the last one you watched.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing.
But anyway, back to unmotivated.
I think another part of me being unmotivated this week, like today, is because all weekend, me and Sentio, we had the Sentio group all up in the mountains, and we made a short film, and it was super fun, super awesome. But now that I'm back home, and it's like I don't know if you guys have been to church camp, but people talk about this when they go to church camp, like the mountain high.
Yeah. That's a big thing.
But then you also have the bottom low when you get home from
quickly
the
for those who are
know
listening
the
who may
terms.
not have gone to a church camp, the mountain high is you go on some sort of like youth retreat where you spend 3 to 4 days just listening to sermons, singing, spending time with other people, socializing, playing games, and it usually all ends up with
responsibilities, basically.
No responsibilities, and it usually ends with like a worship and prayer night. So it's like this very deep spiritual moment for people. It's like if you go to a music concert, it's like the last night of a music festival where you are just
like a last night of a play, last performance.
Of a play. You're so just in this moment. It is such a satisfying
and you've built
moment.
like bonded with all of these people that you've had this like amazing experience with. It's the same thing with Sentio. And I just like, I crashed hard this morning. I got, wait, what's today? Tuesday? Yesterday morning. Yesterday morning. I got home maybe like 1 a.m. or so. Or no, 2 a.m. No, 12. No, I got home at 12, I think. And I typically don't sleep at night, but I crashed. I like fell asleep and was asleep for a solid like 10 hours, which doesn't happen for me typically. I typically can't sleep at all. My brain won't shut up. But I crashed, woke up in the morning. I was like, man, that was amazing sleep and stuff. All right, I'm going to get to work. And then I just sat on my bed for a second. I was like, oh, dude, it's over. It sucks. You know, all these people are not like around. I didn't wake up next to all these people who I've been bonding with for a while, you know? And I typically don't have like close friendships. And so I feel like it hits me harder than a lot of other people. You're not my friend, Brent. But it's like,
tell me like that. Okay,
well, I think
Tazi?
it's when I say close, I mean like I spend every day with
like
people.
family.
No, I know what you mean. Like you've got like you in life, there are the close friends that you're gonna stay connected with throughout the entirety of the time knowing them. And then there are the people that like we met each other through mutual interest in the same thing, and our lives will probably end up carrying ourselves in different pathways where we may hit a point where we're not talking for years at a time. Like who knows? Yeah. But I totally understand that mentality.
But I think it's good because I do have friends like that I can pinpoint and be like, we haven't talked for a year. What's going on? You know, and we can just pick things back up. But for the most part, the people but there's a very small amount of people that are like that for me. Because I have like heavy trust issues. And I think what I would really desire is to get like a tribe of people that I would just hang out with constantly, not like every single day, but like we would see each other every week, you know, and do something or whatever and have like a small tribe of people. I think I would love that. But but the problem is if I left, you know, if the group didn't meet that week, I would feel like shit because that's how I feel right now. Is I feel like I got close to these people. I started to like think of them as family. Like I would think about them before I go to sleep. Like, man, it's so amazing to be around just amazing, like-minded people. You know, we're all creatives here. We all love what we do. We can make a movie together. Like this is amazing to be a part of this group of people. And then it's just over, it feels, because we're not necessarily talking at all, you know?
Yeah.
And it just sucks, man. I don't know what to do. Like, I feel so immotivated and I feel like I shouldn't be, but I am, you know, maybe that's just
no, there's definitely a social component to motivation. I think when I don't know, we're social animals. So when we tend to be in community with people, it raises our spirits, it encourages us. And so I definitely understand. I definitely understand that. I mean, I think that, again, it's an issue that I specifically have is self-motivation, like doing the daily work, like that path forward. I feel like that you're talking about that sort of 10-year path that requires people around you, but it also requires this ability to basically turn your brain off and just do work. Like the way you make movies, most of it isn't fun. It's mostly boring ass cutting, writing, rewriting, doing all the dumb stuff. Like, okay, like I had
editing is the worst.
Editing is the absolute worst. I've been editing this short film. For you guys, it seems like it's been months that I've been editing this short film, but we recorded all of this in like 2 weeks. But I've been working on a short film and my hard drive failed. So now I've been spending time pulling footage from the backups that we have, and it's taking forever. But on top of that, just finishing that rough cut, I hate it. Like, I absolutely hate it. The sound doesn't work, nothing matches. There's so many issues that I have to fix, but it's work. Like, you just have to sit down and start be like, okay, scene 1, let's make the audio even. Now we can see what the edit actually looks like.
Yeah.
Scene 2, scene 3, and it's boring and it's tedious and
it's just monotonous.
It's monotonous.
I feel like
no,
that's
it's
the right
monotonous.
word.
That's the right word. That's the right word. And I think that's my biggest problem when it comes to these movies is I'll finish a project, and I don't know. I don't feel excited to move on to something else until like a few months later when I get an idea and write it. And then it gets boring again. So I think.
So what's the solution?
I mean, the solution is to just do it. The solution is to just do it.
But like, I can't just do it because it's so boring. So how do we make it more fun? What's something that I can bring to the table to make me want to get up and do it? The monotonous tasks, the creating cash flow sheets, the creating budgets, the creating stuff that a producer has to do that I don't want to do, the context that I have to reach out to. Like, I don't want to do it. I just want to make a movie.
Well, I don't think there's any way that you can make it exciting for yourself. I mean, there might be some ways that you can make it exciting, but those things are very hard to make exciting. Those are things that you have to do in wish to get to your end goal.
Here's the solution. I think
the solution is you have to.
The solution
you
is
have
to
to
do
think. Okay, just saying do it. I mean, I don't think that's.
I mean, I have
helpful.
More, but I don't. I have
But
more
you
to say
have
on
to.
that, but.
You have to think of it. It's going to be boring. I don't think there's any way getting around that. But you have to think of the end product and know that you're going to make something that's worth it. But to do it, it's like with a movie. I mean, we're talking about movies, but like within the movie, you can't have just a bunch of action scenes all together. You have to have establishing things or just like conversations that give context. Not everything can be super exciting, but the exciting parts are very exciting, but there are other things that are necessary to get the full experience, because you can't just make the movie and get to do all the fun parts and then just it's done. You can't do that. You have to do some boring stuff to get to the good stuff, and that's just the way it is.
What is your solution?
Okay, Tazi,
my solution is become very wealthy where I can pay people to do those things.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Which is the case.
Wealthy,
but
to
currently,
become wealthy, you have to put in the work first.
Exactly. You can't.
That's where I'm at. I feel like if I could. Well, hold on. Let me say this. I feel like if I could have, like, just got my shit together like 3 or 4 years ago and just like sat down, did the work, and I did for a while, but I got like shit stolen from me, and that really hurt my flow of like work. And so I was like, what's the point if somebody's just gonna steal it and I'm not gonna reap the rewards, you know? So I was unmotivated that way. But if I just pushed through that and was like, listen, fuck them, I'm going to go out, make my own stuff, do my own thing, and I'm going to do it right, and I'm not going to involve people I don't trust. If I did that 3 years ago, I would be in a very different place than I am right now, because I would have just done it. But it's just hard to do it. Like, it sounds easy, and it's just not, you know?
It isn't easy. I think for the past 2 weeks, I've done basically nothing. I had the same sort of emotional fallout after because I was going to work for Tazi but the investor fell through, and I had that same sort of feeling of hopelessness.
I felt so bad because I promised you shit, because he promised me shit, and then he broke his promises, which in turn broke my promises, and I felt so bad. I'm sorry still.
You're okay. But it was hard for me to get back on the horse, and I don't know. It's one of those weird things where the process of
my leg is twitching.
The process of building the habits necessary to do boring things is different for every person. Like, I still have not figured out how to do it. I have done all of these different things in terms of planning. Like, the next 10 years of my life, I have fully planned in terms of what are the things that I should be doing daily and monthly, and what are the projects that I should be working on to reach success. The issue is waking up in the morning and just doing it. So like the past 2 weeks, I hadn't been doing anything. Literally, Brent can attest to this. I've been at home watching videos all day for 2 weeks. and then every now and again I'd put a few hours into editing Ultimate Alley Fighters. That I have put some work into that, but it's not been anywhere close to enough.
I think
And, I was going somewhere with this.
Sorry.
Is that
I have another solution.
I was just scrolling through Reddit, and there's this random post from BoJack Horseman about how the hard thing, like the hard to get somewhere, you have to do hard things, and the secret is to just do it. And it sounds dumb, and it's more poetic than the writing, but that was basically it. I don't know why, but that helped for me to just say, okay, I've done all the planning. Like, I've already done all the planning. I literally have an app on my phone with everything that I should be doing daily. And I was
What's
just
that
like,
app
okay,
called? Because
Habit Bowl is what I have.
Habit Bowls?
Habit Bull.
BULL.
Yeah, and it just has like the things that I do for my morning routine. It's all of a sudden caught off a bunch of my habits.
Most of the stuff, most of the productivity apps and habit apps that I've tried to get, you have to pay for them. Is it a paid thing?
Nope.
The first year is free, and then you pay for it, like $5 a year or something like that.
Wow.
Most of them are pay for. I mean, again,
Habit Bowl, as in like
Bull.
I said BULL.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
And
Sorry.
Tazi, if you don't want to use Habit Bowl, you could use a piece of paper for all I care. The point is finding something that works.
I just don't know how to format it. I'm a very big formatter, and I don't know how to format anything right. Like,
but all I was going with this is that reading that one thing emotionally triggered me to be like, okay, your sleep schedule is off. So no matter when you wake up tomorrow, you're just going to start doing stuff on that list. So I think I woke up at 11 or 11:30 today, and I did my morning routine. I finished that about 2:30, I think was when I finished all the stuff there. And then I spent the rest of the day before recording this podcast working. Photo. Yeah. But I spent the rest of today actually working. I've been working on moving footage from my backups to my hard drive so that I can finish editing this short film.
It says 7 days free, not... Damn it.
More than 7.
It's more than 7. I've had it for a year.
It says try 7 days free.
They might have changed it.
A year.
They might have changed it. Or maybe I paid for 1 year. I don't know.
I'll find something.
You find something that works for you. The point is that I don't know what the solution is, but so far sitting on my bed feeling sorry for myself hasn't helped. And the only thing that has helped me so far is that I have spent time over the past 5 years developing all these different random plans. And today it helped that when I woke up and said, the first thing you're going to do in the morning is make some coffee and look at your phone and look at your habit app and just do the first thing on that list. So far it's worked. So I don't know.
I'll talk to you later about the practical steps that you take.
But here's the thing, my practical steps so far, I'm still experimenting because over the past year, the most productive I've been was this summer during COVID. And that was motivated by the fact that I put on 30 pounds over quarantine when I was with our family. I went from 240 to 270 pounds over quarantine. And when I got back, I just felt fat. And so I was like, I'm going to lose weight. And that was the first thing. And then I got the habit tracking app and slowly started adding habits. And I ended up writing 2 new drafts of feature films. That was also motivated by being in a writer's group. That helped a lot. So I had that social component of someone that was relying on me. I wrote a pilot for a TV show.
Are they still doing that? Is Micah still doing that?
Probably, but he had a baby, so
babies. That baby's so cute, by the way.
It is adorable.
I saw that baby. It was really
cute. The leader of our writers
picture.
Group had a baby.
I saw it in the picture, and I saw that Tabby was holding it, and I was confused because I was like, "Wait, Tabby and Michael don't have a kid," and I realized it was probably Micah's kid.
I have pictures of me holding him.
Oh,
but going back that over those 3 months, I saw exactly how productive I could be. Like in that period of time, again, I wrote 2 drafts for a feature. I wrote 2 first drafts for features, and I wrote the first draft of a pilot. Like I was writing 4 hours every day. I've never done that before. And that was while I also had a job. I had a job during that time as well. So it wasn't like I could do it no matter what my life situation is. But then all of a sudden in November, it all fell off the rails, and I haven't really written since then.
When I was going through the process of rewriting stuff, I promised myself just every day before I go to sleep, I have to write at least a scene. That was my thing. And then eventually I've gotten to, 2 acts now.
Yeah.
It's a very complex story.
That was something that helped, was just sort of do it. Because some days you're not going to do as much as you did the day before. Because some days it is those days where you wake up and you feel like crap and you're not going to get a lot done. Like during that 3 months, there were days where I literally wrote 3 pages. Like I wrote 1 scene and that was it. And then I stopped and I worked for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. But there was some days where I wrote for 6 hours. I would write for 3 hours, take a small break, write for another 3 hours. And
it's weird because it's all up here, but you just have to like put it on final draft. It's like it's all up here, but you just got to like do it and put it out there. It's like it's done in my head. I just need to put it somewhere so that other people could see it.
I think there's something to be said for planning. So understanding what is my route to success. Like I have a list of things that I want on my portfolio as a writer. I haven't done it for directing yet because I think for directing, one, I'm working with other people more. So that helps a lot. Like I know that after I finish this short film, I know what my next short film is going to be. And it's something that I'm working on with Tazi. And that's the next project after this.
Do you remember, I want to ask you this real fast. This is a sidebar. Do you remember a not so funny comedy?
I mean, I know that you did it, but I've never watched it.
No.
Well, it's garbage. I don't want to release it.
Okay.
But I want to refilm it with better elements, I'll say.
Was that the
Better
movie that I did
actors?
sound? Was that the movie I did sound for?
Yeah.
Here's the
Oh,
thing,
yeah,
Tazi.
no,
Do you
that
think you'll
wasn't
need
funny.
better actors? Because my portfolio needs some work. I haven't done anything in a while. Well, this is
Stop
awkward
inserting
now.
yourself into my short films.
I also
What?
I'm just kidding. No, I think you could play the main character. I think you could play the main character.
That's a serious accusation to say I'm inserting myself into your.
Well, there's
your,
only
your
2
things.
characters. Shut up for a second. There's only 2 characters, right?
Okay.
And I think you could play the main character, and then I would play the character that is kind of just a Easter egg.
It's like a retweet for retweet or something like that.
Well, there's an Easter egg in the movie.
I make you the main character in my short, and you make me the main character in your short.
I'll tell you this: all of my stories are connected in some shape or form. Like every single one of them have
the superhero kind of ones, right?
Don't be giving out my
That's
ideas
Kyle.
now. I don't know what you're
That
talking
isn't the
about.
No, that's
Superhero-
Kyle's.
that's
No, I was
Kyle's
thinking of
movies.
Kyle's. No, I was thinking of Kyle's thing.
Kyle's making a
Because he was
series of short
he
films with superheroes.
explained it when we did that.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
But I just want to go back to the actual topic of productivity.
Yeah.
'cause
Well, here's one of my
Oh, you
other
go.
things of solutions. I think is accountability, and like actually, but it's weird because when I try and tell people what I'm doing, people get I get like a few different responses. One of the bigger ones is, "Oh, you're so cool," whatever. You suck. And then the other one,
so cool.
the other one is like, "Oh, you're never gonna make it. You should just stop while you're ahead and do something else."
Gosh, do people
Which is
really say that
relevant.
to you?
I get it.
That's
I mean,
depressing.
that's so depressing. Like, what the heck? Why would you?
Well, they
ever
say it
do
in a
that to
different
someone?
manner. They're like, "I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I feel like I need to say this as your friend. I think you should move on."
You're you're what, 23, 24?
27.
You're not
You're
27.
not
Lie to me.
27, you liar.
When
My
I hear
name is
people
John.
say something like that, okay, listen, there are
22.
some people that are more gifted than others. There are some that will never make it in the industry. But who was? I think it was Hugh Jackman. He did a podcast that was really good. I can't think of what it was.
He'll be
all
on
of a
next
sudden.
week.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he
Dude,
was
I
talking. He
wish.
was saying that
Right.
he was saying that he doesn't think that people should really stop pursuing a career in film until they're 31. He said, if you are 31 and you still haven't made it, find a new career because it's probably not for you. If you've been working from your 20s to 31, you should probably do something else. So I understood that. It's like, if you're still working in a restaurant at 31 trying to be an actor, you should probably stop. But at the same time,
Try
there's
to be
still
a
success
manager.
stories. The guy from Outsiders, who is also in Ozark, I can't think of his name, but he's a little bit of an older guy. He's in his 40s and he has a beard. He didn't become successful until he was in his 40s.
Mhm.
So there is something to be said about persistence, that working hard every day towards a goal while putting yourself in a position to try and find opportunities. Some people are not going to be as athletic and talented as Tom Holland and get a job when they're 20. People aren't going to be like that. Some people are going to be like David F.
I
Sandberg.
auditioned for that role.
But some
actually?
people aren't
Yeah.
going to be like
I met Tom
David
and
F.
all.
Sandberg. Some people are going to be like David F. Sandberg, who was making commercials, short animated commercials in Norway for his career until he was in his 40s, when he made a dumb little short called Lights Out that got him his career. And now he's a very successful director. He's doing Shazam 2 currently. Like,
Didn't he put
has
that on
not had
Reddit,
a
and
bad
that's where it
career.
really blew up? Is putting it on Reddit?
He put it on Reddit. He submitted it to a short film competition. He put it in a bunch of different places. So I think there's something to be said about consistency. It's the same thing with working out, that the people who get in shape are not the ones who lift the heaviest weights. They are the ones who lift weights consistently. They are the ones that are tracking their
I don't
progress.
lift at all.
So like, I need to finish this short, and it may take, who knows how long it'll take me. I'm praying it doesn't take me another 2 months. I want to finish it in the next few weeks. But
So
the
just
point
get
is
it
to finish
done,
But,
son.
but that's the point, is that every day I need to look at it and be like, okay, even if I'm just fixing the audio for one scene here, we're going to do that one scene and then be done.
Yeah.
And
I
be
feel.
consistent.
I will
Something.
say this: I do feel more motivated talking about it. I think that's another solution. Is when these scenarios happen. Oh, I feel
Talk
like
to somebody and get them to motivate
but
you.
I think my original point of the whole people think I suck because I'm telling them this what I'm doing is it has to be the right people that you talk to.
Yeah.
And the accountability has to be with people who are like-minded in the way
For real.
that can motivate you enough to be like, listen, I know it sucks. I'm in it too, but let's get it. Let's do it. You know, and that alone will be like, all right, cool. Yeah. Let me go write this scene. You know, let me go edit this thing. Let me go send out this email and do whatever. You know, I feel like that in itself will be like, okay, now it's time to get to work.
Think about the older generation of directors. So people like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, Ron Howard. There's a few more in that group of directors, but it was a group of like 5 or 8.
I don't get the hype around Ron Howard, to be
but
completely
ignoring what you're saying about the hype around Ron Howard. The point is that they were a group of people that, outside of Ron Howard, didn't really have an attachment to,
because he was an actor
like
first,
royally.
Right?
Yeah, he was Opie on the Andy Griffith Show, so he had connections. He had connections.
It's a good show. You should watch it.
But he had connections that helped him, but he was part of a group of people that all encouraged and worked with each other to help each other improve. And I think you can never I don't know. There's people that don't work in the film industry or don't have an understanding of the film industry, or maybe they just have this old way of thinking about things that if you're looking for a career in the arts, they're like, well, really the only people who succeed are rich people who already have connections. That's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie that they are telling you because they don't understand what's going on.
I think it's easier if you're rich and you have connections.
Oh, it's much easier.
It's much easier, but it's that's not the only way to do it, because
becomes David
there
Lindelof.
aren't that many rich people with connections.
Well,
here's the thing.
The moniker, but where I was going with this is the sign of success. This is the last thing I have to say. I'm sorry, I'm talking long monologues. But the sign of success was more often the people who were persistent in pursuing opportunities. They were the ones who found success. So the people who got rejected the most before they got accepted, those are the ones who found success. So I think you cannot live your life with this. If you're going to be an artist, with this fear of rejection, you have to be consistent in improving. You have to find a group of people to socialize with and encourage each other to improve. And then you also have to not be afraid to put your work out there, even if it's bad.
Yeah.
Like, put your bad work out there and get comments on it so that you can understand what's bad about it and you can get better. And screw the people who just tell you to quit because you're bad. Like, screw them. They don't deserve your opinion.
One movie that I think, it's obvious, but La La Land is a great example, because the entire movie is not just acting with Emma Stone, but with Ryan Gosling and the jazz club.
I just watched Crazy Stupid Love. Sorry, I want to say this real quick. That's a good
Well,
movie.
thanks, Tazi.
I enjoyed that
Appreciate
movie.
Crazy
it.
Stupid Love is a great movie.
It's a
Crazy
decent
Stupid Love.
film.
I've
Yeah.
never seen it, but I've
It's on
heard it's
Netflix.
pretty decent.
Just released.
But yeah, so that one is like, I mean, they even have a montage of her going through like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 auditions, where she just gets rejected, and some of them they even just talk over her, which I think happens in most auditions anyways, but still, or at least old school auditions, because I think auditions nowadays are a lot more of recording yourself and sending those tapes into people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But
I
still,
did
that's a very good
auditions, and they suck ass.
very good thing. And even in that, when she writes her own play, and then she does it, and it sucks, like it's not good, and they have the part where it's like she hears the people outside the green room talking about how bad it was and how it's not that great, and like she's like, I need to give up, but having people around you to support you, because she tells him not to give up, and then when she's down, he helps her not give up. And so you need to have people around you, otherwise you are just going to give up, because most of the time people alone cannot do things by themselves. They need support around them, and also just to keep doing it even when their stuff they do sucks, like and then in the end, I mean, it's not what always happens, but the Emma Stone makes it after working for a really long time trying to get this job.
I don't think a group me would work. I don't like group me that much. Like a group text of just like 10 people that we know that are actually trying to get shit done, that we can encourage each other with. I want to start that. I feel like that would be beneficial for me, at least.
Yeah, that would be good. And I think that I want to say this to people who are not pursuing careers in film. Maybe you have friends and family. Like, I don't know, don't allow your idea of what success looks like impact their desire to do something artistic. Like, encourage them. If they do something that artistically isn't quite there yet, be kind in your critique of it and encourage them to pursue the next thing. Like, Brent and I have been very lucky that both of our parents, when they heard that we wanted to go into the arts, were very apprehensive. Like, they were apprehensive, but they were still encouraging, and they were apprehensive because they didn't know what the path forward looked like. But what I've found so encouraging was both my dad and my mom were like, even though we don't know what the path forward looks like, Justin, we know that what success will look like for you is how you pursue your opportunities, how you seek out opportunities. Don't wait for opportunities to come for you. Go find the people to talk to, find the people to work with.
Hit me up on Instagram or follow me on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
Plug my Letterboxd.
But that was where their encouragement came from, that even though they didn't have this understanding of how the film industry worked, they had this understanding that both of us wanted to work in the film industry, and that they were going to encourage us to do it in whatever way possible.
I think I will always want to encourage people that are trying to make it. So even after I am, bigger, I'm doing stuff consistently and I have money backed behind me, I always want to be looking back and pulling people up. So that being said, follow me on Instagram at Tazi.
No.
Faster.
No.
We got a minute left.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Let's
fast. Wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up. We were missing
a
segment of this show.
No, Brent, I know. I was going to do that at a different time.
Different time.
We're done. This is over.
Yes, I know this is over. Just let me do it. Jeez. Let's wrap it up.
I think I know what he's going to do.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, we're cutting this out anyways. I was going to do it during one of the an ad thing as the thing, but yeah. Okay.
We'll cut it. We'll cut it at the, you should.
When Justin starts yelling about me needing to do it, even though he shouldn't do that, even if I didn't do it, it's not his segment. It's not his segment to do.
You know what? I will do whatever the frick I want, because I'm a strong, independent man.
But are you doing are you doing the Trinity is what I'm calling it now?
Brent
the Trinity?
Brent can do the Trinity for this.
You're supposed to do episode 3.
What?
Yeah. He did 1, I did 2. You're supposed to do 3.
I thought you had to record.
4.
I thought this is 5.
I haven't
done it.
Stop clapping.
You stop clapping,
It's
you
too
bread
loud
eater.
for my sensitive ears.
Hi guys, sorry for that. That was a great episode. No thanks to Tazi Starfire, who ruins the episodes. If you want to support us on Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/filmfeast. If you want to email us, you can email us at info.filmfeast@gmail.com. Join us next week where me, Brent, and this loser talk about turn your brain off movies. Goodbye. Gosh, that was a terrible sign-off. What other sign-offs do you think I should try? You like it? Oh, dang. Thanks, man. Tazi is uncanceled, guys.